shock in New Mexico. And like, I sit around with like my inner circle. I'm like, no, it's not. That person made 8,000 times more social content than the incumbent who ran all their money on television. You know, and they're like, oh, but Gary, young people don't vote. Young people aren't the only ones consuming content on social networks. Your grandma's going ham on Facebook.
She sure is.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, my dad's on Facebook all the time.
You know what I mean? Like, and by the way, not just on Facebook, like the amount of 40, 50, and 60-year-olds consuming real levels of content on TikTok is real. It's real. And so, you know, I think the biggest thing I could say is, and I'm kind of leaning into the, you know, both of you asked me before we went on a little bit about like, how's the book going or what's going on, or what was the most surprising thing? You know, I actually have an answer to what I've most observed in the last month. I myself am now comfortable putting this flag in the ground, and I'm not willing to hedge anymore. The number one most important thing in all of communication, not just marketing, as we sit here today, is your organic social media creative strategy. That all of marketing and everything starts before you spend money on media amplification, before it is how you extract consumer insights. It is the most important thing to raise money for your business, to raise money for the PTA, to be elected local mayor, to sell flowers of your flower shop locally, or if you're BMW or YSL or Louis Vuitton, like Coca-Cola, like selfish, selfless, capitalistic, altruistic. If you want something to happen, the number one most important thing in the world now is your organic social media content strategy and capability. And that's why I went ham on this book. That's why I went further than I've ever taken myself with this book. This book is borderline boring to me. It's so detailed.
Super
it's
tactical.
like a textbook.
It looks like a textbook.
Well, you guys are better students than I am. So, it lands for you more.
Let me double click on that point that you just made and a phrase that you used, which was extracting consumer insights. So what that reminded me of was, Gary, I don't know if you remember this, but you and I got a drink God knows how many years ago. And I had asked you a question, which was, how do you keep track of which ideas of yours make good content? And what you did was you pulled out your phone, you opened Twitter, and you said, here's my strategy. I don't know if it still is, but this is what I said at the time. And I've repeated this to so many people because it was so smart. You said, this is what you do. Anytime you have an idea, you test it out on Twitter. Just throw it out there. It's basically a record of how much people respond to this idea. And if it's good, even in a short 1 or 2 sentence form, it's worth developing further. Maybe then you take it somewhere else. Maybe you talk about it a little bit more. And you use a little bit of a proving ground as the starting point for understanding, for extracting consumer insights, for seeing what people will respond to. And then once you know that, you can go larger with it.
Not only is it my strategy, it has now elevated to what we're talking about. It is now so refined. If that was 101 back then, or 201, I would say when we sat down, well, I'm in the 401 course of this now. I don't make content, and I make a lot of it, and my clients make even more of it, without even thinking about that being a premise. Like, that's in the batter.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the meal. It's an ingredient. It's the salt and pepper and olive oil you're cooking in. It's like, I would never think, and I know that most people don't think this way, and I would never think about making content without also being curious to the quant and qual data that comes out of that individual post. Doesn't even cross my mind to post anything on earth that isn't at some level also or significantly trying to understand.
Everything's a test.
All of my talking is actual listening.